I look at your hunger, I look at your passion, and it reminds me of me. That is the purpose you served for me today.
Good day, everyone. I'm Sharif Muhammad. This is Crazy Enough Podcast. Today I have Adaora. Thank you for being here. Right?
Hi, sure.
I'm
Great
doing
to be here.
Yeah. So Adaora is a brand developer, an entrepreneur, a content creator. She's a poet. She's a designer. I saw one beautiful art on Instagram, right? And she's also the author of this thing called Purpose. I have to definitely get that book. And she's a model too.
Yes.
Right. So the very first question I want to ask you is, the podcast is Crazy Enough. What made you not settle for less?
What do you mean not settle for less? I think for me, it's really just understanding that I was created to solve a problem in this world.
Okay.
I've always believed that right from when I was a child. Is when I was maybe about 8, 9. One of the things that I used to do was I would get all the kids in the neighborhood together, and I would basically just try to find entertainment, things to entertain the adults, right? And we would sell tickets across the estate because I grew up in an estate, so we would sell tickets for 5 naira, 10 naira at the time, right? Which felt like big money to us, but the main thing is we wanted to provide entertainment value to people in the estate because we felt like our parents were working so hard and they didn't really have much to do other than watching TV, and so let's do cultural dances and everyone would bring their talents together. And one of my gifts was to organize that, was to always get people's gifts together and their talents together and use it to create value, right? So I think for me it was just, I understand that I have a gift. I understand that God gave me the gift for a reason. I understand that I need to solve problems in this world. And so, I'm not going to settle until those problems are solved.
Definitely. I absolutely love that. Right? That's how the spark started. But in that conversation, you mentioned God. Talking about God in a world where many people are trying to achieve, they believe in God, they know He exists, but they are not fully living His word. What's an insight you what's your take on that?
My take is that I think that first of all we need to understand God as love, right? As God is love. God
Definitely,
is,
yes.
God opens His arms up to embrace us, even despite our weaknesses, despite what our challenges are, who we are, what we've been through, right? So I personally don't look at God as a provider, right? I understand that God can be a provider, right? That's why we call Him Jehovah Jireh in the Christian faith.
Yes.
But I don't focus on God as a provider, right? I focus on God as someone who loves me, someone who embraces me, someone who wants things to work out in my best interest. And so I think that when your mind shifts from looking at God as this person that needs to give you everything you want, to looking at God has the ability to give you everything you want. But when you shift from looking at Him that way and move into this space where you know that even when human beings forsake you, right? You have God, and He has you, and that He doesn't even need you to be connected to Him. Sometimes He's still connected to you regardless. You can't run away from that connection. The connection is there. He loves you. He's always going to be there. He's always going to be there to embrace you.
I love that. Right? So I was stalking your Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Especially your stories. I love it, the affirmations and everything. And I saw throwbacks of quotes or probably Facebook posts, right? When you were tweeting, Twitter was definitely not out at about 12 years ago, and many people underestimate the amount of time and effort put into becoming a success. I mean, people see you right now and feel like it happened overnight, but then that's years, that's what 12 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
So, what's an advice you would give to somebody that's just starting out, that is very, very hungry, but does not respect time?
Yeah. I mean, I'll say you don't have a choice. You have to respect time. I think that there are many things that you can beat, right? So you can gain a skill, right, fast. If you're a fast learner, you gain a skill fast. If you can build connections fast, you can build networks fast, but you cannot beat time. You can beat everything else. Time is just not within our control, right? And I think just allowing yourself to genuinely enjoy what it is that you do and genuinely decide that you want to learn something, right? And you want to give and serve, the more that you do that, right, it gets you closer to where it is that you want to be and where it is that you want to see yourself, you know. And I just think that there's nothing worse than having like half baked stuff. It's like when you're trying to bake cookies, for instance, and you put it into the oven. If you keep checking, is it done, and you keep removing it, it's never really going to. It's going to take longer to get done.
Obviously,
you know what I mean, because you're stopping
the
the flow, so it's going to take longer, you know, to get done. So I think sometimes just trusting that you have baked the best cookies and left it inside there to you know to do its thing.
Let
the process, you know, like let the process just kind of, and I think it's in that process, to be honest, that we find ourselves, that we become more self-aware, that we realize that some of the things that we're hungry for are not really what we want.
Exactly.
You know, because I mean, when I think about it now, I'm like, there's some things I did that I thought that was my destiny, you know, when I was younger, you know, when I was maybe 18, 19, sometimes even in my 20s, like I thought, this is the thing, I'm going to be this thing, and now I'm not that thing, and I'm happy I never.
So what you're saying in essence is like time allowed you to align with what you really
with
wanted.
what you really want. You know, time allows you to align.
That's cool. Lastly, let's end it here, right? If you go back 5 years in time, what would you tell younger Adaora?
5 years in time, I would tell younger Adaora, you know, just keep doing what it is that you do, right? Be diligent with your work. Keep experiencing, you know, life. I would definitely say enjoy a bit more. I think that in my 30s now, I'm having a midlife crisis. Like I'm like a young kid because I didn't really. I wouldn't say that I had the privileges that young people had at that age. You know, like in the sense that I was so focused and so determined to maximize my ambition that I didn't have fun. so I would tell Adaora from 5-10 years ago, have some fun.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like enjoy life.
I understand where you come from. So where can we get your book?
Where can you get my book? You can get it on Roving Heights. It's available on Roving Heights, also available on Amazon.com. You can order it on there. Yeah, that's it.
So
I know what you're doing.
We have 50 seconds. Do you want to ask
That's
any
fine.
question?
That's fine. No, you can actually keep going. I have like maybe another 5 minutes.
Alright, one more thing I'll definitely ask. Right, advanced pace and entrepreneurship, right? I'm a creative, I'm building, I love it. I also have a thing for entrepreneurship, definitely eventually. But currently, I feel like that intersection, I watched the video, you put it out, but I still want more insights on it, right? At what point, not even at what point, how do you navigate the creative part, jamming together with getting a source of livelihood from it? Yeah.
I think ultimately it really comes down to the point where you feel that what you're creating is valuable, right? And I know we hear people say create value, and I think everybody's creating value, to be honest. But the truth is, again, remember what I said about time, is that sometimes you're creating maximum value, but still you're not getting what it is that you need, right? There are two ways to look at it, right? One is you want to make sure that you structure whatever it is that you're creating to be able to bring you income. Because it's one thing to have a valuable product, like you're a creative that is creating value. It's another thing to structure that product, right? And it's another thing to communicate that product. You know, like, so you need to be able to put a brand around it, tell a story around it, position it so that people can actually see that value.
People to see it.
They need to see the value.
They need to see it. It's like you're still a creative
exactly.
until you communicate that
exactly.
Product, right?
And I think the challenge with a lot of creatives is that they don't communicate their value. They create the value, but they don't communicate it. And so if you can sort of maximize that, and also realize that there's some things that you don't know how to do, and it's okay to collaborate with other people. Like if you know, for instance, you're not a structured person and you need someone that needs to put that structure around you to get there. You know, it's worth the investment, right?
And I believe that also gives you the time to do what you want to do naturally and let the person do.
Exactly, yes. And once you start to do that, it becomes easier to monetize. I think that the reason why most people don't monetize is because you're in a place where you don't feel comfortable about your product, right? Like you're worried that if you monetize now, you now owe people, you owe the value, because it changes, the dynamic changes. When you're doing something free for someone, right? You can do it at your own time, do it however you want, you know, and all of that. When you're now doing it as a transaction, right? Your commitment level changes. It needs to change. You have to be dedicated to it. You have to put in the effort. There's an expectation that the person has, right? From you, because now they're paying. You know, so I think most people, that disconnect between, oh, you know, I'm just a creative, I like doing this thing, and now I have to be serious if I really want this thing. It's interesting.
One more thing, right? This thing called purpose, right? I believe I have a purpose, I have an idea, I know what I'm doing. But then if I'm asked exactly what is your purpose, right? I feel like for every single person that has a purpose somewhat, right? The world has influenced that, right? So if you ask me what am I doing, I'm definitely introducing letting the world know about crazy enough people, right? That's beautiful. But I feel like it's because my purpose, right? It's definitely from different pieces together that I've picked from so many places, right? So how does someone know that his purpose is coming from an original point of place and not just being picked from the outside?
So the thing about this purpose thing is that we all have multiple purposes, first of all, right? And secondly, people's experience of us and what they gain from us is actually the purpose that we serve in their lives. So for instance, you just had this conversation where you're saying, you know, your purpose is to, that one of the things that you know that your mission is to, you know, get crazy enough, tell the stories of crazy enough people. Now to you, that's what you're doing, right? To me, the purpose that you might serve in this conversation today is to remind me of a target audience that I've been looking at, right? To you, you think you're serving a particular purpose, but for everybody it's different. For another person, you know, your purpose might just be to inspire them because they're younger and they're saying to themselves, man, I'm 13, but, you know, when I get to his age, I hope I can do this, right? So another person is a different thing. So people experience us differently. And whatever it is, so our purpose essentially is not even in our control, is what I'm trying to say. The purpose that you serve is not within your control when you think about it, because it's really about who's going to benefit as a result of my existence in this world. And how I benefit is different from how he benefits, how she benefits, how it's different. So yeah, that's what it is.
I am in the sun trying to get some shots. I have something crazy coming on my YouTube channel. We go see and we go pee. But I need to learn to become my hair more because my hair is really, really scattered. Yeah, it's not biting me. Bye bye.